Another sensitive issue, Japan and South Korea. You suggested maybe it's time
Not sensitive. It's not a sensitive issue.
let them develop their own nuclear arsenal and get the U.S. out of there.
To me, it's not a sensitive issue. Look,
why isn't that sensitive?
I have great relationships with South Korea. I have buildings in South Korea. I have great relationships with Japan and in Japan. But our government, and a lot of people don't even know this, when I make speeches, I say we protect Germany, we protect Japan, we protect South Korea. Many, many people, sophisticated people in the audience, they didn't even know that. They have to help us. We don't get reimbursed for what this massive amount of work and energy and weaponry, what it's costing. We can't continue to do it. This isn't 40 years ago. This isn't when we were much different as a country. They have to take care of us. Now, I think they will. If they don't, you have to be prepared to walk. You always have to be prepared to walk from a deal, including the Iran deal, which is a disaster. They should have walked.
But you're ready to let Japan and South Korea become nuclear powers?
I am prepared to, if they're not going to take care of us properly, we cannot afford to be the military and the police for the world. We are right now the police for the entire world. We are policing the entire world. When people look at our military and they say, oh, wow, that's fantastic, they have many, many times, we spend many times what any other country spends on the military. But it's not really for us. We're defending other countries. So all I'm saying is this, they have to pay. And you know what? I'm prepared to walk. And if they have to defend themselves against North Korea, we have a maniac over there. In my opinion, if they don't take care of us properly, if they don't respect us enough to take care of us properly, then you know what's going to happen, Will? Very simple. They're going to have to defend
themselves.
Because
the other day, the U.S. military commander in South Korea, General Vincent Brooks, he testified up on Capitol Hill. He said South Korea pays for 50% of the personnel costs for U.S. troops.
How much percent?
50%.
50. Why not 100%?
He also says that it would be more expensive to keep U.S. troops here in the U.S. than to keep them on bases in South Korea.
Okay, well, maybe you don't need them, okay? Maybe you don't need them. Look, we're policing all of these countries. They're not paying us. We're policing Saudi Arabia. We are protecting Saudi Arabia. I have many friends in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia would not be there, Wolf. It wouldn't be there maybe for a month if we took our military out. The only reason they're sort of protected, and they're totally protected, is because we're protecting them. Saudi Arabia was making $1 billion a day when the oil price was high. Now they're still making a fortune. Why aren't they paying us?
So basically what I hear you saying, if the U.S. is going to keep troops in Japan, and there's thousands of them, tens of thousands in Korea, 28,000 in Korea, or Germany for that matter. You want the host countries to pick up all the expense.
Of course they should pick up all the expense. Why are we paying for this? We are paying to protect them, and I think it's wonderful. I think it's good. I'd rather do it rather than have them arm. I would rather do it. And, it was covered actually accurately in the New York Times, very accurately. And they covered it because they talked the cost. A lot of people like to say, oh, Trump wants Japan to arm. I don't want them to arm. I want them to reimburse us for at least the cost. Now, you could say it's worth more than that, but at least reimburse us for the cost. When you say we pay 50%, well, if we say we pay 50%, that means we pay less, okay? But we're losing a tremendous amount of money. And we have a military that's not in good shape anymore. You know that. Everybody knows that. And we have to do something about it.
Another military question. The former Defense Secretary, Robert Gates, who's a Republican, he said your lack of understanding of the complexities of international affairs is worrisome. And then he added this: you don't understand the difference between a business negotiation and a negotiation with sovereign powers.
Well, I don't think Gates understands. And he was also very disloyal to numerous people that he worked for. I don't like people that go out and write books and criticize everything. So I don't think he understands, and I don't think he understands the word loyalty. And frankly, I really believe I understand it much better than he does. And our country right now is a debtor nation. We cannot go around subsidizing Japan, which is a behemoth economically with the cars and everything. Germany, South Korea, you can't order a television set unless you go through South Korea. You can't order, the ships are made now and said it's an economic behemoth. We cannot continue to subsidize all of these countries when we're a debtor nation. We're a debtor nation. Now, I will have great relationships, far better than we have right now. Look at the relationship we have with China. They're ripping off the United States. They're taking its money. They're ruining our jobs. They're ruining so much. And yet they build a military fortress, a massive military fortress in the middle of the South China Sea. They're not supposed to be doing that. They have no respect for our country.
And you say that will change if you're president?
They will respect our country, and they'll like our country better than they do now.
Let's talk about some important domestic